We magnify our emotions by fearing them, and then they remain in us, stuck in our body, and we imagine them more significant than the perfection of our body's mechanisms to live, to survive, and to thrive. I want to show you today how you can go from having emotions stuck within you, causing havoc in your life, to how you can feel, understand, and metabolize stuck emotions in your body so that you can get to that next level of healing. Hi, I'm Rochelle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Last week I made a video called Are You Carrying a Mother Wound? Or What is a Mother Wound? And it was introducing you to my passion, my work of ending the cycle of your mother wound. If you've not seen it, the link is below. And I suggest watching it so that you have a really good understanding of what we're going to talk about today. You're going to need that base understanding as we move forward. And today I wanted to dive into a really important aspect of this work, your attunement to your body. And how that attunement really is your partner in healing. Body awareness is pivotal to healing your mother wound because the emotions connected to your mother wound sit in your body. And having an awareness of your body and your emotions and how they work together is necessary as we move through this healing process. So before we get started in today's topic, I want to invite you to like this video, to subscribe to my channel, hit that bell if you've not already done it. Good, you did it? Awesome. Let's go. So I'm making this video as a resource for you to learn this very valuable tool. As a society, we've been conditioned to believe that our emotions live in our head and that we heal emotionally through processing our thoughts. We talk about our feelings, we process our feelings, with friends, with families, with therapists, all very, very valuable, very, very necessary. But it's also incomplete because the mind-body connection is real. You don't think feelings, you feel feelings. And so if you feel feelings, then the logic is that they originate and live in your body. So emotions are normal and natural. They're meant to be acknowledged, they're meant to be felt, they're meant to be processed and metabolized when they happen. But when you experience a trauma, the normal process of experiencing those emotions is shut down. And they get trapped in your body, and then what happens? They become body memory. And if left unprocessed, they just sit there in your body, and it becomes the filter from which you view the world around you, from which you respond to situations, from which you respond and attach to people. It becomes the view in which you orientate to the world. So before your hippocampus came on board, the part of your brain that organizes and stores memory, before that came fully online, all of your experiences were stored as body memory. You were nonverbal, you didn't have a way to express them, and your hippocampus couldn't organize them. And especially if you experienced childhood trauma, these exercises are really helpful for you because stored emotion or body memory become the unconscious motivation for survival behavior. And that survival behavior probably began in childhood and it's going to follow you into adulthood. And it's body memory that's at the core of all of your unhealthy relationship patterns, your codependency, many of your emotional triggers, perhaps your depression and even your anxiety. So it's only logical that if you get those emotions moving, get them unstuck, get them out of your body by acknowledging and metabolizing them, then many of the issues that lay in that body memory will also start to resolve themselves. And we have to start to believe that our bodies are brilliant and they know how to instinctually feel emotion and move it out of it. Our bodies are brilliant and it knows how to move emotions through it, but oftentimes we shut it down. And we do that out of a need to survive, out of this fear that if we start to feel, if we start to pull at a thread, we'll just become unraveled. But once you learn this skill, you're going to see how powerful you are. And then this process becomes instinctual. You'll become a pro at understanding and learning how you store emotion in your body, but also how to move it out of your body. And you'll also be better equipped and you'll learn how better to process emotion in the moment that it happens so that they don't get stored in your body. And I want you to hear this, that there's no emotion in your body that is bigger than your ability to feel it, to process it, and to move it out. Because you were created with a perfect emotional regulatory system. But when emotions get stored in there, it becomes overwhelmed and it starts to misfire and we start to experience all of these issues in our life. So I want to share with you some tools that you can use to help you become more body aware and to become aware of how the emotions get stuck in your body, what it looks like to acknowledge them, and what it looks like to sit with them. and most of all, how to trust your body in its ability to metabolize and resolve them. So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to make a statement, and then I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to sit with, to acknowledge, and then metabolize that emotion. Okay, so let's get prepared. Perhaps you like to get comfortable in a comfy space, maybe the space that you're in, just kind of settle into it. And I invite you to take some deep breaths. Just allowing yourself to sink deeper into that space that you're in. And then here's the statement that we're going to be focusing on. I overly involve myself in the care of others, often to my own detriment. Now focus on that statement and allow it to bring up an emotion connected to it, a feeling connected to it. Don't overthink it, just let it come. Your body is perfect and your intuition is perfect in telling you exactly what it needs to feel. And if this is a new practice, it may take a couple times. Don't worry, you're eventually going to get it. Just keep sitting with that. Keep inviting your body to tell you exactly what it needs. So I'm going to make that statement again. I overly involve myself in the care of others, often to my own detriment. I want you to focus on your breath. Put your awareness on your breath and find where that emotion is sitting in your body. Ask your body where it is and then listen. Your body's answer may be as subtle as getting an impression or a thought of a particular body part. But however you get it, trust it. That's your body talking to you. This may be new for some people, but you may feel a little silly. It's okay. Just trust it. Allow your body to talk to you. You're going to be a pro at this before you know it. And once you get that impression or that thought or your attention is drawn to a particular body part, connect to how it feels. Acknowledge where it is in your body. Acknowledge what you're feeling. See where it lays, and that way you can know when and how it shifts. You'll be able to tell. Don't worry. You've got this. And you may also realize for the first time this is a safe place for you to actually feel this emotion. So just sit with this emotion for a moment. And remember that there's no emotion bigger than your ability to metabolize it, to feel it, to acknowledge it. Just relax into it. Know that you're safe. Allow your body to feel it. And maybe you can place your hand in that part of the body. So maybe you feel it here in your throat. And you can place your hand on your throat and then place your other hand on your heart, the center of your being, the center of your self-love, center of your compassion. And then just sit with it, allowing your hand to lay on that body part, the other hand to lay on your heart. And if it's all in your heart that you're feeling it, go ahead and place both hands there. That's okay too. That often happens. I'm going to go back to my throat. And allow compassion to enter into the space where your heart is. And when you feel compassion in that space, visualize sending it up to the other place where your hand is. So I'm going to visualize compassion going from my heart to my throat. Maybe for me this signifies not speaking my truth or setting my boundaries, and my truth sits here in my throat. This was often true for me. And so I just allow myself to feel that in my throat, not judge myself, just feel it. What it feels like to have my words stuck there, to be frustrated maybe that I'm not setting my boundaries right. And that makes me overly take care of people and not take care of myself. So I'm just going to sit with it, and as I'm sitting with it, I'm going to send compassion from my heart up to my throat and allow it to lighten that load. Allow it to be softer. Allow it to be filled with compassion. And just sit there for as long as you need to, until you can feel that whatever you're feeling in that space. For me, it was my throat and just like tightness and constriction, until that starts to lessen because I've sent compassion there. And then just breathe through it. And you can sit there for as long as you need to with that. Sometimes when you come through an exercise like this, you'll notice that it's a very heavy emotion, and that's okay. And maybe it needs a little bit more than just placing your hand on your heart and sending compassion. Maybe you need to physically move it out of your body, and that's perfectly acceptable too. So some suggestions that I give my clients is maybe go for a brisk walk, and every time you put your foot down on that ground, you visualize leaving that emotion, leaving the energy of that emotion. in that space. Almost like if you were to look back, right, you would see this trail of energy just left there. And that's you just letting that energy come out of your body, acknowledging it, feeling it, and leaving it. That's metabolizing. That's what it looks like. Perhaps you go for a really good run if you're a runner, right? And as you're running and you're doing your thing, you're visualizing that energy leaving your body as you expend it. As you use that energy for running, you imagine that the energy that you're using is that heavy emotion that you felt. Maybe you're like me and don't run or don't do heavy exercise. Sometimes just sitting with that and rocking back and forth, getting your body moving. Maybe for the first time in a long time, like ugly crying with snot and letting it just go. That is such a cathartic experience, and you instantly feel lighter after you've done that. But so often we're told that we can't feel emotion and we have to suck it up and we have to just keep going. And so we just get all this piled on top of each other. All just emotions piled and piled and piled. But that good ugly cry starts to allow it to leave. It starts to metabolize it. And then afterwards you feel a lot lighter. That's all somatic practice. That's all just letting it out. There are an infinite number of ways that you could process emotion. Your body and your intuition is your best guide. Trust it. So the idea is that memories trigger emotion. Emotions are energy. Get the energy moving and you have a new relationship with that memory. It's that simple. What I know is not simple is the heaviness of the emotion. I get that. And this is just a really basic beginner's way of starting to become body aware, starting to get in touch with what's going on in your body so that you can learn how and where you store emotion and how and what it looks like for you to expend it, to metabolize it, to let it go, to release it. Because our bodies will play along with us and it will keep our secrets until it won't anymore. It'll protect us. Right? And in protecting us, it creates all these mechanisms and all these coping things that we do, all these resources around us to protect us. And then eventually those resources and those ways that we've survived in the world start to fall apart. And so if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you might be at that point, that your body is saying no more. Maybe you are just at your wit's end with all the destructive patterns that are going on in your life, or maybe your health is suffering, or your relationships are suffering, or you're just frustrated and angry all the time. Maybe that's your body telling you it's time to process some of this stuff out. So I placed a link below for an article that I wrote called Becoming Body Aware. And there are 11 exercises just like this one to help you get in touch with your body. I encourage you to spend some time getting familiar with the way that emotions sit in your body and how your body is your perfect partner in regulating your emotions. If you've been surviving by avoiding your emotions, I get it. Emotions can be scary, and they could very well be connected to some really painful events in your life. But I want to leave you with this. We magnify our emotions by fearing them, and when they remain stuck in us, stuck in our bodies, then we imagine them more significant than the perfection of our body to survive and to thrive. Once we lean in, once we learn to trust our ability to process and move these emotions, we realize how perfect our internal systems are, that they work for us and not in spite of us. And so shifting your internal conversation from, I can't feel this or I'll fall apart, to I was created with a perfect emotional regulatory system, that takes me from surviving to empowered healing and ultimately to thriving. So thank you for spending time with me today. I know that you have lots of choices on YouTube, but I appreciate your time here. Will you subscribe to this channel? Will you share this video? Will you tell your friends about it? If this was helpful, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear about your success and your experience in working through some of these exercises. Leave a comment. Tell me how this process was for you. Where did you feel the emotion? What did you feel? What was your response when you first connected to something in your body and were able to tell it yourself, and we're able to understand and process it and work through it? What was that experience like for you? I would love to hear about it. I invite you to follow me on Facebook. I invite you to follow me on Instagram. All of my links are below. I would love to connect with you personally one-on-one. And if you feel like you want to do a little bit more work in this area, reach out to me. I will post a link to book a consultation with me. I offer free consultations. And let's talk about where maybe this works at for you and some of the things that you felt as you were going through it, as you were going through this exercise. Thank you again. I so appreciate you being here, and I wish you so much joy and empowerment on your healing journey. Thank you.